All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, YouTube? We're back with the Friday NBA show here on the Mayo Media Network, like we are on Wednesday and Fridays. It's not the normal crew. Our boy Tambo is down, I believe, in the down in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, at the King of the Beach. So best of luck, Miami, King of the Beach, right? But he is down there looking to ship 350 stacks. I think it is 300K is first place, and get that top seat. He's got a second place. He's got a third place finish. And why is that relevant to everyone here in the chat? Well, he's giving away 10% of whatever he does win. If you head over to our SHIPIT Nation YouTube channel, I'll post a link in the chat in a second here. Basically, all you do is need to click this link, head over there, and on the first video that says SHIPIT Nation member wins $1 million, which we had our guy D-Dry win $1 million a couple weeks ago in the NFL streets. If you watch that video, drop a comment in there and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You have a chance to win 10% of whatever Tambo takes home this weekend at the King of the Beach. So best of luck to him. I'm stepping in for this NBA show here, breaking down this 11-game slate. And the story of the slate here, how much before I bring you in here, is news, questionable, out, this, probable. I mean, you want to talk about, it feels like a laundry list of injury tags on this slate, which is always so fun this time, November basketball. How we doing, man? How's your Friday? How you been, Hamwich?
Yeah, it's a great day. It's Friday. It's rainy here. I saw someone in chat mention it's rainy there. Rainy here in Tennessee. The biggest news of the day doesn't relate to this show. Joey B out for the season, which they'll talk about that. Not that he's on the main slate, but Bengals season is over with no Burrow. But yeah, should be an exciting slate. Some good games. Everybody's probable, questionable. It feels like tonight. A couple spots we're waiting on. Looking forward to it. Hopefully, my boy Tambo can take it home and give back to the community. $600 guaranteed already. Hopefully it's 30,000 come Sunday night. So let's dive in, Nades.
Yeah, let's dive in. And as always, all of our content will be live on ShipItNation.com. If you are not a member, head over to ShipItNation.com and check out our annual 6-month or monthly package there. Use that promo code MAYO. Gets you 10% off any membership for life. It's not just the first month. It does take it through the entire duration of the membership. Obviously, the yearly package is your best bet. Takes it down to about $50 a month if you do use that promo code. Really easy. It says use a referral code. You click that, you pop in Mayo there, and it will automatically calculate for you. So definitely, if you are not a member, head over there. We've been crushing it. Say hi to a couple guys in chat here. We appreciate everyone in the chat. Michael, Tweezy, Romy, Eric, Reezer, Gator Nation. We got everybody in the chat. Appreciate y'all. If you guys haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. And my guy Eric, spot on Nades the other night. Yeah, we were on ship watch. Needed some of my guys to come through. Obviously Mobley going off late there. Kind of hurt Levert a little bit. Levert still got the job done. Had a very, very good night the other night in the NBA streets. Looking to run it back here tonight on this 11-game slate. How much? Let's talk through the games here. First game on the slate I'm looking at is the Milwaukee and Charlotte Hornets here. Injury report in this one, obviously the big injury tag right now on Giannis. This is the front end of a back-to-back for both these teams. Could see Giannis sit in this game, and obviously if Giannis sits, well, you know what time it is. It's Mr. Dame time against the Charlotte Hornets, who don't play really any defense here. So that's obviously a big questionable tag there. We should get that news. Obviously, it is in the first one of the first games on the slate that does lock. Gordon Hayward's still questionable in this one. Brandon Miller is questionable as well. Miles Bridges is going to be back for Charlotte, and then Beauchamp, obviously a secondary piece there from Milwaukee, is also questionable in this. So talk if-then scenarios. Obviously, if Giannis plays, is a very, very good matchup here for Giannis. But where are you going in this one? Milwaukee and Charlotte, one of the highest totals on the slate at 238 here in this spot.
Yeah, it's an interesting talking point. My guy Gator Nation is always in here talking trash early that Portis has been a print factory all week. He has. I ate the big OL on Monday, Nades. Portis going for a 40 burger, so I'll eat my L on that. But I'm not playing Portis. I can't do it. Probably won't ever do it again for the rest of his illustrious career. But yeah, Giannis, we need to know what he's doing. If not, you mentioned it. It's Dame time all day, every day with no Giannis. We saw what he did the other night when Giannis sat. So I like Dame if Giannis sits. If Giannis plays, I like Giannis a whole lot. On the other side is interesting. Obviously, no Terry Rozier. Gordon Hayward, game time decision with the hamstring. I'm seeing Brandon Miller listed as questionable, but probably going to play. My favorite over there would be LaMelo Ball, naturally. I really like LaMelo. Really like LaMelo on FanDuel, where he's much better priced over there on FanDuel. The other that I would mention would be P.J. Washington. P.J. Washington, his price has gotten up there a little bit. But if you look at last game, 44 DraftKings points, played 36 minutes, shot it 23 times. If some of those, if Gordon Hayward sits, I like P.J. Washington over Miles Bridges. First game back, and how long has it been, Nades? A year or maybe longer? I just don't know how much basketball he's going to play tonight. He's going to be winded. Obviously, the adrenaline's going to be up. So give me Giannis if he's in. Give me Dame if he's not in. Give me LaMelo Ball and give me P.J. Washington if Gordon Hayward sits. Hopefully you got to let down.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. Obviously, big point. I do see the chat talking about Giannis was upgraded to probable, so likely he is playing. It's going to be hard for me to get the Dame at almost 10K if Giannis plays. I do still like Giannis here. His upside is just immaculate here, especially in a matchup against the Hornets. I could definitely see a 65, 70 point game here out of Giannis. Obviously, the total's up to 242 as well. The spread is a little crazy here. But overall, do think this game stays pretty close. LaMelo gets a great matchup. Obviously, point guards against the Bucks has been a thing all season long with Dame's defense here in the regular season. So have to have interest in him. Gets a little expensive to run a Giannis and LaMelo pairing at 10-2 and 11-1, excuse me. But with the injuries, there's a lot of questionable takes, things like that on this slate. Tons of value is going to open up. You could make it work here. Miles Bridges coming back here. He's got a good matchup here, but yeah, you said it. I just don't know how many minutes he's going to get, but he is only 5,300. I just probably going to take a wait and see approach on a guy like Miles Bridges here. Could see him nuking, but it's just the minutes concern. Don't expect him to play much over probably 20 to 24 minutes here. So really not going there. Gordon Hayward, if he does play, I think he's a fine option at 7,300. And if he's out, obviously jumping over to PJ Washington, definitely have some interest in that game. But obviously the highest total on the slate here, tons of good pieces. But for me personally, it's just the main two studs for me. LaMelo and Giannis is where I'm looking at in this one. Let's jump into go ahead.
Hey, just real quick, just to note, I know this show is mainly focused around DraftKings. I play a lot on FanDuel, but Damian Lillard and LaMelo, both really good plays on FanDuel, getting them at a really good price, especially Dame. So you need to take a closer look to Dame and LaMelo over there on FanDuel. Just wanted to point that out. Sorry, Nate, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Definitely good breakdown. Let's jump into the other 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern game that locks at the first start time with this Bucks and Charlotte game. It's the Knicks. It's the Washington here. Knicks on the front end of a back-to-back here. Washington just standard. Pretty close spread here. 228, I believe, is the total in this one. 7-point favorites for the Knicks here on the road. Obviously, Julius Randle's playing incredible basketball right now. So hit on him. Injury report, Quentin Grimes is questionable. RJ Barrett is questionable with a migraine. Obviously, if RJ Barrett sits again, got to talk on guys like quickly you'll get a little boost here. Josh Hart, who's been getting a boost with RJ Barrett being out. Dante DiVincenzo could get a bump here as well. With a guy like RJ Barrett out. So hit on those if-then scenarios. RJ Barrett, if he sits, where are you going? And then hit on Julius Randle. And then on the Washington side, obviously it's Kyle Kuzma. For me, Kyle Kuzma is kind of the focal point of this offense. Jordan Poole has just been absolutely horrendous. But Bilal Coulibaly has been doing pretty good. He was on my near shipper there 2 nights ago at that value tag, got us 26 DraftKings points. His price point is coming up a little bit, 4,800, but the minutes still seem to be there. I mean, 34, 33, and 28 minutes in his last three. They definitely like this kid. So hit on him. Anyone else you're going in this New York-Washington game here?
Yeah, this one's a tough one because I saw the chat earlier talking about Mitchell Robinson. I know our guy Hebrew really likes Mitchell Robinson today. I just can't do it. He's like the fifth or sixth option on that team. He's going to play about 25 minutes. Most of his production to me is off putbacks and things like that. And to me, that's just stuff that we can't really project, like missed shots and him tipping it in or something like that. So I know that the Washington's pretty bad against centers, but I'm not going to play Mitchell Robinson. And then Julius Randle. Man, that price, he's been really, really good since Kendrick Perkins called him out. I'll talk about that on Monday. 8,800, that's a steep price in my opinion. The Washington is terrible, guarding the small forward and power forward. So I could understand you wanting to go there. And then you mentioned it. I mean, I can't quit Jordan Poole. I mean, I just want to. He's been horrendous, like you said earlier this year. I mean, he's all the way down to 6,600. He would be my favorite Nick. Just because I do think he has, 50 DraftKings points upside. So I'm off on Julius Randle. I'm off on Mitchell Robinson. I would have a little bit more interest in those guys like Jalen Brunson, like Quickly, like Josh Hart. That's assuming Quentin Grimes and RJ Barrett are out again is how I would like that. If not, I'll probably be lower owned on this game than most just because Washington, their rotation has been just so sporadic. So it'd be Poole only for me, and then I'm going to fade Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson on my main team.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown here. I do think Quentin Grimes misses for sure, so that's a little boost to Jordan Poole there, but I can't do it. For the Washington side, for me, it's just Kuzma. That's it. Maybe Coulibaly if you fall on a 4,800 piece there at the small forward or forward position. Obviously, he is only small forward eligible there. So can't really go anywhere else. The entire Knicks have a good matchup here. Obviously, Washington bleeds fantasy points to every position here. Julius Randle has one of the best matchups on the entire slate here. 8,800, I think that is a fine price point. I mean, he's been absolutely crushing 54, 42, 43, 58. He does need to probably get to about 55, though, at that price point on an 11-game slate. So there is definitely concern there. Again, if RJ Barrett does miss, I do have a ton of interest in a guy like Emmanuel Quickly or Josh Hart, both 5,900, 5,800, or both are 5,900, excuse me. Probably wouldn't play them together. It'd be a one or the other situation for me. Probably prefer Josh Hart a little bit. I've just been playing Josh Hart quite a bit since RJ Barrett's been out. But again, he's up to almost 6K. Kind of lacks a little upside personally, but he should get a ton more usage going his way if RJ Barrett is out there, especially with Quentin Grimes being out as well, likely with that wrist injury there. So
what's your take on Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good matchup. It's a fair matchup here, but the center position is such a value position here. He is 5,500, so you're looking at him getting about 30 to 35 DraftKings points. He could do it here, but I'm just not a huge Mitch Robin guy on this slate. But I know our guy Hebrew likes him, so Hebrew definitely knows his stuff. Obviously, you can find all Hebrew's thoughts over at ShipItNation.com. If you are not a member, head over there. Use that promo code Mayo, gets you access to all that. Hebrew Cheetah does our slate plan for the NBA. He does a core report every night as well, and you can get his takes. Obviously, a very, very good player there. Live final experience, everything like that. But Mitch Rob, personally not for me. Julius Randle's my favorite Nick by far. Kyle Kuzma, favorite Wizard on the other end. And then if RJ Barrett misses, I do like Quickly and Josh Hart there as well. Dante DiVincenzo would be fine as well at 4,700 is kind of how I'm approaching that game. Let's jump into the next game here. Look at Boston and Toronto. Let me just pull up the injury report on this one. Boston, Toronto here. Injury report, Porzingis there, questionable. Jaylen Brown, questionable with an illness. Obviously, if both those misses again, we can look to guys like Drew Holiday at 7,300. He did get a little price bump. Derek White, 6,300. Peyton Pritchard's still going to be a good value. That's going to pop there at 3,900. And then if obviously Porzingis miss, you're going to have to talk about guys like Sam Hauser, Al Horford, but Al Horford also questionable in this one. So a lot of questionable takes here, mainly on the Boston side. In terms of the game total here, 224 is the total. Boston 9-point favorites in this one, so decent spread. Pretty low total overall in this one. Obviously, Boston, very good defensive team here. But if those two guys do miss, especially Porzingis, Brown, and Horford, if all three of those miss, there's going to be a lot of usage going to some of these cheaper and ancillary places for Boston. So hit on that. Where are you going in this one? Boston, Toronto.
Yeah, you nailed it, Nades. I mean, we really got to find out if Porzingis and Brown, what they're doing, see where Brown is probable now. He's been good all year, fairly priced, got a good price. We're showing good value over here at SHIPITNation.com. 7,800 for Jaylen Brown. I prefer him over Porzingis. Jason Tatum, I think you could always play just because his upside, but 10-3 is a hefty price tag. And me personally, I just prefer other players at that price tag against the matchups that they're going to have. On the flip side, two guys that really stand out to me on the Raptors would be Scotty Barnes, who's also high priced, 9,300, and the other All-Star Siakam at 8,700, which is a steep price to pay for those two. But they're going to take, I would say 20 plus shots apiece. OG Anunoby is out tonight, I believe, or he's doubtful anyway. So these two guys, if they can keep it close, it's at home. They're going to take a vast majority of the shots, going to get a lot of rebounds. I like both of those guys, and then I would bring it back with somebody like a Jaylen Brown, or if we could get one of those value guys would be where I'd go. But outside of that, I'll be lower owned in the field on this just because these guys are kind of higher priced than I think they should be.
Yeah, I was on Barnes. Barnes was in my core 2 nights ago here, but I'll be off Barnes here at 9,300. He's going to get the Drew Holiday treatment. Drew Holiday, obviously a very, very good defender here. And Barnes is up to 9,300. He's earned the price point here, but man, this matchup with Drew Holiday and the other defensive pieces here for Boston, second best defensive team in the league so far through this point in the season. That's a hefty price point. I'm kind of off all these Raptors in general. I'm just not going to go to them. I'm basically under on this entire game here. Just think Boston kind of slows the pace down here, controls the game, plays their game. Obviously, especially if Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, all these guys play, this game is a complete cross-off spot for me. The only place I would go is a guy like Drew Holiday. If Jaylen Brown is out again, which doesn't seem like he's going to be, we've seen Drew Holiday's usage go up to 24% last game, touched the ball a ton, and 7,300 against a Dennis Schroeder matchup here would be a good spot. But all those guys in for me, if they all do play, I'm going to be under on this game. I think Boston kind of controls it here. Don't really like that game too much from a DFS perspective. Let's jump into the next game here on the slate. Atlanta, Philly. Atlanta at home. 236 is the total. Very, very close spread. Just a 1-point spread here in this one. Pulling up the injury report. Obviously, this is definitely a good spot for DFS. Joel Embiid, if he plays, obviously he's questionable with that hip there. Batum is out. Really doesn't matter too much. He's been out for a while. But you got Trae Young. You got Joel Embiid, the two studs in this one. Trae Young at 9,200. You got Jalen Johnson as well, who's been playing great basketball at 6,100. I really like those two guys quite a bit from the Atlanta side. Obviously, Joel Embiid. Do like Joel Embiid here. It's going to be him or Jokic, basically. I like Jokic more at home. Jokic is on the road here against the Pelicans. So I actually kind of prefer Embiid right now if he does play. But hit on that. Where are you going in this one? Atlanta and Philly.
Yeah, I think Embiid's in a smash spot. I think for me personally, it's going to be, who do I want to play tonight? What's my spend up? Is it going to be Joel Embiid or is it going to be Jokic at home? And you said it, Jokic at home is almost a cheat code. So we'll talk about that when we get to Denver. So I think Embiid's squarely in play. Would need to look at ownership, but love Joel Embiid tonight at that center position. He's just been unstoppable all season long. And I think I think he'll have a good matchup tonight against Capella and the backup center there. I can't think of the name on top of his head, but if he's going to get his 35 plus minutes, the Hawks are going to keep it close theoretically with a 1-point spread. I really like Embiid tonight. Trae Young, you can always play 9-2, a little bit too much. Jalen Johnson would be my most interested Hawk just because of the price tag. Like you said, he's been playing really well. 6,100, averaging right around 30, 32 minutes the last 7 games. So don't mind Jalen Johnson at that price. Tyrese Maxey, man, what a basketball player. He's phenomenal. Point guard, $9,100 for Tyrese. A little expensive. So I don't think I'm going to go there. Just be Joel Embiid for me and Jalen Johnson at that price tag. But I think this game could get into a track meet just based on how the Hawks want to play. But for me, it's just going to be Embiid, going to be Jalen Johnson from the other side.
Yeah, I like Trae Young. You get the new dad narrative, right? If you want to play into the narratives, right? He obviously came out buzzing on Wednesday there with the new dad narrative. He's 9,200, so I definitely prefer him to DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray's price point's up to 8,500. That's getting expensive for him. Just rather find the $700, get up to Trae Young. Jalen Johnson, I really like a lot. Both Trae Young and Jalen Johnson's projection to be sub 10% ownership on this slate. In one of the highest totals on the slate, close spread here. And then on the Philly side, really love Joel Embiid here in this matchup. Think he can absolutely smash here. And I don't think he gets much ownership in this spot either, especially with a guy like Jokic, what Jokic has been doing. Joel Embiid's been smashing, and he's 11-4 in this matchup here, projecting very well. So I really like him at sub 10%. So this game, close spread, high total, low-owned pieces, low-owned studs, definitely have a lot of interest in those spots on this slate. Let's jump into the next game here. It's Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs facing the Sacramento Kings here. 238 is the total. Another very, very high total. Sacramento, 8-point favorites in this one here on the road. Pace-up spot, definitely for the Sacramento Kings. In this one, De'Aaron Fox, Zach Collins, Victor Wembanyama are kind of the top projected guys right now in this spot. Not seeing a ton of ownership coming to this one, and high game environment here. De'Aaron Fox, our guy Hebrew was all over De'Aaron Fox last game here. Are you going back to De'Aaron Fox, who dropped 49.75 last matchup here? Where are you going in this one? Sacramento and the Spurs.
Yeah, another one I love tonight, Nades, De'Aaron Fox. I mean, there's really hasn't been any type of minutes restriction on him since he's come back. He's gotten 37-plus minutes in the 2 games since he's been back. They've been rolling. I think they beat the Lakers pretty good the other night, and then I think they won the other game too. His first game back. It might have been against the Warriors, but whoever's against, I think they did good. So I like De'Aaron Fox. San Antonio struggles containing the point guard position. Really like his spot that he has tonight. I see a lot in the industry, people talking Malik Monk. I think Malik Monk is okay. I think his value goes down just with De'Aaron coming back. Understand that he can get 40s DraftKings points, but I'm not gonna roll the dice and hope to get that every 7th time. So it'd be De'Aaron Fox number 1 for me. I'm gonna be lower than the field is on Malik Monk, and then I can't peg these Spurs. I mean, Zach Collins projects the best. Wembanyama the second best for us, but I'm not playing any of those guys. And then the last guy I would want to talk about is your boy Kevin Huerter. 250 burgers in the last 3 games. He's been absolutely dynamite, shooting over 50% from 3 the last 3 games. So Kevin Huerter would kind of be the second I like, because the Spurs struggle so much guarding the point guard and shooting guard position. So give me De'Aaron Fox, give me Huerter, and then Zach Collins and maybe Wembanyama will be the 2 Spurs that I would have interest in as well.
Yeah, no, give me the 2 studs in this game. De'Aaron Fox has one of the best matchups on the entire slate. He's 9K. Really like him. It's a tough decision between him and Trae Young here. Both of those guys are low owned. I think you could do a route where you play both of them, right? Both 9K, kind of fill out a little bit of a more mid-tier build with those 2 guys. Both of those guys have 55-point upside easily in their matchups on this slate. And then Victor Wembanyama, if this game stays close, I mean, he's going to smash this price point. It's a fantastic matchup here. High usage 4s, absolutely smoke this Kings team here. So give me De'Aaron Fox and Victor here as the 2 main pieces. I'm seeing sub 10% ownership on both those guys. Both incredible matchups, high total here. If this game stays close, both of those guys are going to absolutely smash here. Victor Wembanyama's surpassed 56 DraftKings points twice on the season, has 4 finishes over 45 as well. I mean, he is 8,700, but man, he has a ton of upside. Probably doesn't have a ton of block upside in this game, though. Obviously, the Kings shoot a ton of 3-pointers here, but that leads to more rebounds, and he's going to be the focal point on the Spurs offense to keep this game close. And if he does keep it close, he's going to be in for a big night, and I expect Fox on the other end to have a big night. So I really like those 2 guys both in this spot. Let's jump into the next game here. We have Detroit. We have Cleveland. Let me just pull up the injury report for this one. 220 is the total, one of the lowest totals on the slate. Got Cleveland at home here. Very good basketball team defensively against a pretty poor team in Detroit. Obviously 9-point favorites in this one. Let me just scroll to the injury report real quick. But overall, one of the lowest totals here. I think Cleveland kind of handles this. But injury report, Bagley's questionable with an illness. Darius Garland is questionable. Obviously, if he misses, that's going to boost guys like LeVert, Evan Mobley. Jaren Duran is out, and then Donovan Mitchell is questionable as well. So there is some big news in this one against the very porous Detroit defense. So hit on those if then. Obviously, if Mitchell and Garland both miss, we're going to expect some heavy chalk going to Cleveland. Guys like Mobley, guys like LeVert will be massive chalk. Max Strus, will probably become mega chalk at 5,900 as well if those guys are out. So definitely an interesting spot here if these guys do sit.
Yeah. Now, this game, depending on what happens, I'm going to be out. If Darius Garland sits, I'm playing Cade Cunningham. I really like Cade Cunningham's matchup tonight. Going to have the ball in his hand a whole bunch. Really like Cade Cunningham if Darius Garland sits. I think that's a great play. The other great play that I would have for the Pistons is 4,000. Kevin Knox played 25-plus minutes his last two games. He's $4,000. He should be in line to start tonight. Durant is out. Bagley is questionable. If Bagley sits, I like Knox even more. That's just more minutes for him. But definitely like Knox. Definitely like Cade Cunningham if Garland is out again like he was the other night against the Trailblazers. And that would be the extent of it. Donovan Mitchell, I mean, he's just too expensive. If Mitchell and Garland sit, Karis LeVert may shoot it 317 times tonight. So I would have interest in some of that. So give me LeVert if those two are out. And give me Knox for sure, and then Cade Cunningham if Garland's out.
Yeah, Cade Cunningham has been brutal all season, but he does have a fair matchup here against Cleveland. Lead dominant ball handlers can get to Cleveland a little bit here. Cade Cunningham's price continues to come down. We know the upside that a guy like Cade Cunningham can have, right? 55, 60-point upside. Hasn't shown it much this season. He's been pretty brutal, but it's just a sub 5% play here in GPPs that could be the differentiator in your stack or in your lineup, if you have a lot of chalk pieces. Throwing in a differentiation piece at 7-9 with a guy like Cade Cunningham. Don't hate it here. Personally, I probably don't get to him in my I'm playing two teams tonight. Single entry, 3-max stuff. I probably don't get to a guy like Cade Cunningham, but in MME formats, definitely would keep him in the pool because he's just got the upside. Could show it, could be a good buy low spot there. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, if you want to approach this, obviously Garland sat out last game here. If he plays but is limited, I still think he is a fine play here at 7,200. He has plenty of upside, 45, 50-point upside at 7,200 in a matchup here against Detroit, who can't stop anybody. So would have interest in him. Donovan Mitchell's getting too expensive for me at 9,500 here in a game where I don't think really he needs to go crazy. So you pretty much need him to get 55, 60 DraftKings points at that price point. Just don't think he's going to be needed here. Both those guys are out. Chris LeVert becomes a lock for me. Like you said, he's going to probably take damn near every shot on offense. So I really like that. And then obviously Max Strus would become a pretty solid play as well.
Rob, Killian Hayes, I'm assuming who you're talking about. I don't really have interest in him. He has only been playing in the mid-20s. Point guards are a thing versus the Cavs, as Nade's alluded to. But give me Cade Cunningham. I mean, I can almost guarantee 35, 40 minutes out of him. He'll just have the ball in his hands more than him. Austin Thompson he's been really good, probably better than Cade Cunningham as well. It just I don't think I'll get there tonight, but no Hayes for me. Nate, I don't know if you want to touch on that or not.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's the right slate to go to a guy like Hayes in this spot against a Cleveland team here. Really, I mean, if both those guys play, I really don't have a ton of interest in the game at all, to be honest. I'd probably fully cross it off. If those guys, I think Cleveland can kind of just wax them, would just be a GPP Cade Cunningham for me at low ownership. But really, if those guys are both in, pretty much full fade for me in that game. So I'm definitely not getting to a guy like Killian Hayes in that spot. Let's talk about the next game here. We have Orlando. We have the Chicago Bulls. In this one, 215 is the total, so even a lower total here, but it is a close spread. 3-point spread here. Pace down spot for both teams. In this one here, injury report, Markelle Fultz remains out. DeMar DeRozan is questionable with a personal tag there. And then Alex Caruso is probable. So not a ton of injury news here. Obviously, if guys like DeMar DeRozan does sit, we're going to see increased usage for a guy like Vucevic and Zach LaVine. Kobe White will pick up a little bit of usage there. Kobe White coming off that stinker of a game there, let a lot of people down. Still played 33 minutes, just didn't get the job done. Shot 2 for 10 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. Only picked up 1 rebound, an assist, and a steal. Scored 5 points there. So hit on that if DeMar DeRozan is out. Are you getting back to a guy like Kobe White? I saw some questions in the chat talking on that. Hit on Zach LaVine and Vucevic, obviously, if those guys out. And then on the other end, Paulo Banchero is projecting pretty well. He's just been lacking the ceiling for me. Personally, in a matchup here, 215 total at 7-7. I don't really get to a guy like him. I don't think here. So overall, pretty much out on this game, especially if DeRozan's in. If DeRozan sits, boost my interest a little bit in a guy like Zach LaVine, Kobe White, and Vucevic. But overall, not a ton of interest personally.
Yeah, it looks like Bagley's available to play. I'm going to make it easy, Nades. Nobody in this game I'm playing. This I think they scored like 72 points apiece the other night, so no thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. 11 games. Can't play everybody. Got to cross off some spot. I think this is an excellent spot to cross off. Next game here, we have Denver. We have the Pelicans. 226 is the total. Denver, 5-point road favorites here, and we got to talk about it. We got to talk about Nikola Jokic here. Obviously, this guy is on an absolute tear. 69, 79, 68, 85, 68. I mean, yeah, I read those game logs off. You kind of, if you just didn't know who it was or the price, you'd probably be clicking him into your lineups here. But obviously, this game, a little bit of a tougher matchup here, but Jokic is obviously matchup proof, kind of does whatever he wants. I personally like Jokic a little bit more at home. He obviously crushes there in Denver, but he is still projected to be 10 to 15% ownership on this slate. Has probably the most upside on the entire slate, in my opinion, here. So touch on Jokic, touch on anyone else on the other end. Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, where are you going in this one?
Yeah, I mean, Jokic is a great play, 12-5. I mean, he's basically a walking triple-double. He's almost going to have to get, 60 or 70 and do you need that? Doesn't even matter if he gets there. So Jokic, like I said earlier, it's Jokic or it's Embiid for me tonight. It looks like this game is actually in New Orleans, Nades. I don't know if that changes your opinion on him or not. I think he's got a good matchup against Jonas Valanciunas. I don't mind that matchup. I really like him. That price tag is hefty. Brandon Ingram has been doing pretty good since CJ McCollum has gone down with his illness. Hit 48 DraftKings points twice out of the last 3 games. He's going to be shooting into bunches down there. Zion Williamson, 8-3. Don't mind that tag as well. So for me, it would only be Jokic for the Nuggets. It would be Williamson. It would be Ingram. And then the last one that I would consider, just based on the fact if he gets hot, can really get going, is going to be Michael Porter Jr., which is gross to say. He gets a ton of rebounds, ton of rebounds, I feel like. So he's got double upside if he can get there. He's going to shoot it if he's hot, 15-plus times. Those are going to be 3-pointers. So I don't mind Michael Porter Jr. if you're needing that last piece and have, $6,800 to spend. So that would kind of be the extent of where I'm going in this game.
Yeah, I do think you can get to Jokic. I prefer Embiid at similar ownership. Embiid is obviously cheaper, $1,100 cheaper. But Jokic, I mean, the role with Jokic without Jamal Murray right now is just absolutely absurd. I mean, they run the entire offense through this guy. He does it all. Triple-double upside each and every night. I think he's fine. I might put him on one team and Joel Embiid, to be honest, on the other team is how I might approach it. But I definitely think he's interesting. Brandon Ingram, I'm out on Brandon Ingram in this spot. He's likely going to draw KCP, who's a pretty solid defender here. I think he can slow down Brandon Ingram a little bit here. So I'm going to be off Brandon Ingram in this spot. It's pretty much full fade for me on the New Orleans side. And on the Nuggets side, it's Jokic and it's actually Aaron Gordon. I like that matchup and the price point for Aaron Gordon. He's been very good this season. And I think he could get us 45 DraftKings points here, and that'd be enough at 6,600. So I actually prefer Aaron Gordon to Michael Porter Jr. $200 cheaper. Aaron Gordon's been pretty good, and he has a pretty solid matchup actually compared to a guy like Michael Porter, because Michael Porter could draw Herb Jones or Obviously, Herb Jones might need to help on Jokic, right? He might take Reggie Jackson, but I still prefer Aaron Gordon and Jokic. So pretty much just those two for me. And I'm off the New Orleans side. Obviously, you can play Jokic each and every slate. 3 games left on the slate. We got the 3 night games to talk about. The next 2 games locked 2 hours after these early games. So obviously, once these 7 p.m. games tip off, you can go grab some dinner, hang out with your wife, do whatever, and then come back, obviously 30 minutes before the 9 p.m. window here. But if you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, helps us out a ton here, and head over to our Ship It Nation YouTube station and hit the subscribe button as well. And go under the very first video you should see. It says Ship It Nation member. It's a picture of our guy D-Dry, who won the Millie a couple weeks ago in the NFL streets, and a picture of Tambo on that video. Drop in the comments a comment, hashtag ship it, hashtag whatever you want. And then Tambo, whatever he wins this weekend down at the King of the Beach in Miami, he's going to be bringing 10% back to a lucky commenter or interactor on that YouTube station. As long as you're subscribed to the Ship It Nation account, you have a chance to, if he takes first, $30,000 he's giving away. So absolutely incredible. Minimum $600 I think he's giving away right now with that 10% there. So excellent work. Good luck to our guy Tambo down at King of the Beach. Has had great success in the past. I hope he keeps it going. Let's jump into it here. Let's talk about Phoenix. Phoenix, obviously, they got their big boys all healthy here in this matchup against Utah. Looking at this game from a totals perspective, 237. So it's a pretty good total in this one, pretty close spread. This is probably my favorite game of the late night window. So I do think it's an interesting game here from a DFS perspective. Looking at the injury report, Bradley Beal is doubtful. So Bradley Beal, obviously, likely their big three is not going to be intact again. That didn't last long, right? Devin Booker's likely to play here, probable. And then Eubanks is also likely to play. So Talk on this one. You got Kevin Durant at 9,700, Nurkic at just 6,600 here. Lauri Markkanen, Keontae George, John Collins, Clarkson, things like that. Where are you going in this one? Utah and Phoenix. High total, pretty close spread in this one. Late night hammer. Yeah,
I think I saw before the show that your boy Bill is out for 3 weeks. So that's a shame to see that. I don't know if they've played any games together this year, but Kevin Durant against this Utah Jazz team. Can't guard the small forward. You got to love Kevin Durant tonight, 9,700. He's gone for 50 in 5 straight games. So, not saying that that's his floor, but he's going to be good tonight. He's going to get 45 plus DraftKings points with a ceiling, I would say around 65, 70. So I don't mind Kevin Durant. I don't mind Lauri Markkanen for the Jazz. Hopefully they can keep it close. I like the power forwards, Markkanen and then John Collins. When they play a little bit small ball, kind of plays power forward. So I don't mind either one of those. It'd be Kevin Durant for me. Eric Gordon is showing good value, 4,800. He's in line to start with no Bill, going to play around 30 minutes, going to get up around 10 shots. So I don't mind him if you need a little, savings there, 4,800. But for me, the main ones I want to focus on, try to get is going to be Durantula. It's going to be Lauri Markkanen. It's going to be John Collins for the Jazz.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit different on you. I do like Kevin Durant at 9,700. I mean, like you said, he's gone for 50 in multiple straight here, and now gets a very, very good matchup here against Utah, which he should be able to do whatever he wants in the paint. He's driving, I think, 11.1 drives per game right now. So he's going back to his attack the basket mentality here, Kevin Durant. So I really like Kevin Durant. Nurkic should have a huge size advantage against a guy like John Collins here. Could lead to more points for him. But, man, he's been pretty brutal as of late, 15, 19 in his last 2, 26 minutes, 24 minutes. His minutes have been very, very sporadic. Obviously, he's gets a little handsy sometimes, right, with the fouls. So for me personally in this game, it's Kevin Durant and it's Jordan Clarkson on the other side. If you look at what Jordan Clarkson is doing right now, I mean, he's putting this team on his back on the offensive end. He's going to play a ton of minutes here. I expect 34 to kind of 36 minutes here, maybe even possibly more, 45, 42, 42 in his last 3 games. He's chucking the basketball right now. And at just 6,800, he should draw a pretty solid matchup here. Likely we'll get a mix of Grayson Allen and Josh Okogie, which aren't two very, very great defenders by any means here. So really like Jordan Clarkson, really like Kevin Durant in this one as the late night hammer. Nurkic, I think, is fine at that price point, but I really don't love it too much. Lauri Marketing has just not been exciting personally for me. So I'm out on him. If I go to the Jazz, I'm going to Jordan Clarkson in this spot for me. So it's pretty much Durant and Clarkson in this one for me is where I'm going. Let's jump into the other game that tips off at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Eastern here. It's the Lakers and the Trailblazers here. Obviously, questionable tag on LeBron James here. Anthony Davis is probable. From a total standpoint, 227 is the total here. Lakers favored by 9 in this spot here against Portland. Skylar Mays, Shaedon Sharpe, obviously they're still projecting pretty solid with their current roles on this team. But not a ton of interest personally for me too much in this spot. Do you see something I'm missing in this one? Do you got plays that you're digging up here, Lakers and Trailblazers?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, Anthony Davis 10-1 after his performance the other night. I don't see how you could play that. I think he's even more expensive over on FanDuel. So I'm out on Anthony Davis. I do have a little bit of interest in Jeremy Grant. I think Jeremy Grant at 7,300, just with what he's doing with the minutes that he's playing. I don't mind him. This Lakers team's just not very good right now. We saw it the other night get run out of the gym by I think that was the Kings. So I don't like them. What is LeBron? What's LeBron's status? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, he's questionable. He played 35 minutes in that last game. Obviously, he went off. I mean, they just list this guy as questionable each and every game. He's probably going to be a game time decision. You could see him sit, which I hope he plays because I actually do have a lot of interest in Anthony Davis. I mean, he should absolutely eat in this matchup against Ayton. They have terrible rim projection. Anthony Davis should be able to do whatever he wants inside. I mean, I could see a 60, 65-point night here from a guy like Anthony Davis. Obviously, his ownership will boost tremendously if a guy like LeBron does sit. But again, this game locks 2 hours after the 7 p.m. window. So you're going to have swaps built in if you like that. I think I like Anthony Davis either way, even if LeBron does play, but definitely love him. He becomes an amazing play if LeBron does sit, but I don't have a great read on it right now.
Yeah, I think the one, can't play them all. This one would be one that I'll pass on. So yeah, pass for me. Jeremy Grant maybe at the power forward position. That would be the extent of it.
Yeah, Skylar Mays has a pretty solid matchup here. He just hasn't been great. I mean, he's getting the minutes 33 or 37, 33, 31 minutes. Hasn't been very efficient from the field. Shot 4 of 13 last game. That's why you only saw the 22 DraftKings points there. But the 3 games before that, he was firmly involved, obviously picking up a double-double in 2 of those games with 11, 12, and 10 assists there. So I think he's fine. I just don't love it. It's pretty much Anthony Davis or pass for me in this spot, but I do like Anthony Davis quite a bit. I just think he's got an elite matchup here against Ayton. Don't expect a lot of people to go to him. He's projecting to be 5 to 8% ownership right now at 10-1, and you could see a 60 burger coming, 62, 63 burger coming here from a guy like Anthony Davis in this matchup as a late night hammer. So definitely keep him in consideration. But it is a pretty loaded center position with obviously Jokic on the slate, Joel Embiid. You got the value centers, right, that people want to go to. So do think his ownership stays in check, and he could very easily post a big number here.
Any thoughts on Cam Reddish?
Cam Reddish. I mean, I don't. I mean, this guy, 4,800. I mean, he's getting the minutes. It's just I'm not going to go there. I mean, I wish he was. I mean, if he was 3,800 instead of 4,800, I might. But I mean, he's got to do something at that price point, 4,800. I mean, he's just basically a shooter. Is all he is. Not going to pick up a ton of peripherals. His last game was very fluky. Last game, he picked up 5 steals and only scored 29 DraftKings points. That just shows you he scored 16 points, 16 real life points in 32 minutes and only scored 29 DraftKings points because he had 5 steals. So he's basically a shooter. And at that point, I just don't have a ton of interest in him. So I'm out on him personally. I don't think it's the right slate, but maybe on the night slate, you could get to a guy like that, obviously, or Showdown, but not on the full slate for me personally.
I'm in trouble, Nate. You and Hebrew are on Anthony Davis. I may need to reevaluate my thoughts on Anthony Davis. He's too Charmin soft. 9 points in like 30 minutes. No thanks. But Hebrew, I hope he doesn't do it to me.
Yeah, I mean, they just allow the second most points. They have no at rim protection. Anthony Davis will be able to do whatever the hell he wants. LeBron just went off last game here. You could see LeBron say, hey, buddy, remember, we still got Anthony Davis on this team against a matchup like Ayton and just eat. So I really like this spot there. He's going to be super low owned, and I definitely like that. And I'm going to look at a Embiid and Davis build, or an Embiid or Jokic and Davis build, see what that looks like. Because both of those guys, I mean, you grab 2 of those centers like that, they could each get you 60 to 70 DraftKings points each, and you're sitting at 140 there with 2 players on your roster there. So really like that spot.
We better hope that Ayton doesn't breathe on Anthony Davis, or he might get hurt. So, Ayton, please don't breathe on Anthony Davis tonight.
Yeah, you talked about Bobby Portis too, the same way, with the same energy there, Hamwich, and I shoved it right up your behind right there when I was up at the top of the leaderboards all night 2 nights ago, Wednesday there. So I don't know how you did. You probably had a pretty good night because our projections continue to absolutely smash over here at SHIPIT Nation. Core plays, everything has been locked in. But yeah, slander. I threw that Bobby Portis core play. Obviously, wasn't a hot take by any means with the injuries there, but he got the job done. Bobby Portis has been playing good basketball since you slandered him. So throw Anthony Davis out your mouth a couple more times, and he's going to drop 70 on your head tonight. You keep this up. So I definitely like the spot there. Last game of the slate here, 219 is the total, one of the lowest on the entire slate. Clippers 7-point favorites here. Obviously, they got their guys in here: Paul George, Leonard, James Harden, and Westbrook. All 4 of those, I don't know. That's a whole story for another time. Throwing those 4 on the same team, thinking it's going to work out. Get a matchup here against Houston. For me, don't have really any interest in this spot. From the injury standpoint on this one, the Clippers, I mean, pretty much no injury report in this spot at all. So for me, complete cross-off, late-night hammer here. I just really can't get to any of these Clippers when all 4 of these donkeys are in there at the same time. And then on the Houston side, Sengun, maybe. If you want to get to a guy like Sengun, he's probably my favorite. Houston, but again, it's at that center position. I like a lot of centers on the slate, so I don't know if I can get to him. Pretty much under on this entire game.
Yeah, the system. We got the system in place, and the system is 0-7. What a great system that is. Glad that he's finally in LA. Russell Westbrook, your boy, to the bench. Terrence Mann, step right up. You are starting tonight. That's the biggest news coming out of there. Don't mind Terrence Mann at that price. I can't play in these Clippers. The system is 0-7, and I'm not playing them until they can get that thing figured out. Hopefully they can get it figured out before the playoffs start. But yeah, Sengun, you mentioned it. He's probably the best player, the best value that we're showing over here at ShipItNation.com. Don't mind him. At the center position, 7-7. It's going to make you a lot different. You know, a lot of people are going to be playing Embiid. A lot of people are going to be playing Jokic, but that would be the extent of it for me. This is a low total. What is it? 217, I believe, 218, somewhere in that range. So Sengun for me, and that would be it. No system for me tonight.
Yeah, I get the Terrence Mann, but man, I mean, the thing with him starting is now he's next side of a guy like James Harden, who needs the basketball, Kawhi Leonard, who needs the basketball, Paul George, who needs the basketball. Like, is Terrence Mann really going to demand usage in this offense starting next to these guys? I don't think so. I get the price point, 3,800, right? He's probably going to play 30 minutes at that price point. He could limp into value, pick up some assists, but man, it's going to be tough sledding for him to get the basketball and score some points here. I personally think he does better off the bench because he'll get the usage off the bench. But obviously now a guy like Russell Westbrook, that trash can going to the bench, I mean, he needs to hang it up. For me, complete cross-off spot. Houston would be my only interest. Sengun or Fred VanVleet, just because they got 2 decent matchups here. Sengun, definitely my preference is I go to anyone, but doubt I get to anyone in this game.
Hey, my boy, Oz Ostic. He knows what's up, Nate. He knows good basketball players when we see him. Dylan Brooks, Dylan the Villain, the Canadian. a little Tambo narrative down in Miami. Yeah, give me some Dillon Brooks, baby, to shut down the system and all these Clippers. Ostic, there you go. Nades' favorite player, Dillon Brooks, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, shit, I'll send you my PayPal, my Venmo, whatever you want. I'll send you my P.O. box. You can drop me a check, certified banker's check, whatever you want. Because, man, if you're playing $5,100 Dillon Brooks on this slate, on an 11-game slate, I mean, this guy hasn't surpassed 22 DraftKings points in any of his last 4 games at 5,100. I mean, I couldn't think of a worse play on this slate, personally, in my opinion, than a guy like Dillon Brooks. But, hey, if you want to play Dillon Brooks, it's your money. You can light it on fire. I can think of better ways to spend some money. Maybe go buy your girlfriend a new purse or take her out to dinner or something. I mean, I don't know, but that's all 11 games on the slate. Any final remarks from you, Hamwich?
Yeah, don't play Dillon Brooks tonight. I don't think it's a Dillon Brooks kind of night, but it should be exciting. Interested to see. I think the big decision points are going to be who are you going to play at center. How are you going to get different? But, yeah, looking forward to it. And hopefully we see some Ship It Nation logos up there at the top like we always do. I appreciate everyone joining us today.
Yeah, no, real quick, did want to hit on that Boston news. All those guys are in for Boston, so it takes me completely off that game. Did want to bring that up. Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, and Horford, all 3 of them are available to play. So that takes me completely off that game in general. I think Boston should beat the brakes off of Toronto. Expect that game to play more towards under the total, and it's already a pretty low total in that spot. So did want to bring that up before we get on out of here. Again, all of our content, my core, Hamwich's core, Hebrew Cheetah slate plans already up there. We'll have Hoop and Tambo will have their cores up there. My core, we'll have everything ready. Stuff's already trickling in. Obviously, a lot of news on this slate. But we will get a lot of it in that first hour, obviously, with the majority of those games, 8 of the 11 games lock in before that 8 p.m. Eastern window or at the 8 p.m. Eastern window or sooner. So definitely have to be around your computer, at least for the first hour of this slate. And then obviously you get a break there before these later games. The late game, obviously, LeBron James is the big piece of news late that you're waiting for. I expect him to play, but that's going to do it. Again, if you are not a member, use promo code Mayo, SHIPITNation.com. We'll get you access to all of our slate plan, core plays, and our projections that continue to smash for each and every single sport. I see numerous screenshots and compliments of our projection system over here at SHIPITNation.com, where members are just crushing all sports with our projections. So definitely head over there. But we're going to get out of here. Good luck tonight in your contests. For my guy Hamwich, I'm Nades. Good luck. Let's ship it.